Hi, everybody. How are you? I am going to invite Terry. I don't know. Art. Let's see. Terry. There you are. Invite. Okay. Oh, there she is.
I
Okay,
can't see me though. Am I supposed to be able to see me?
I think you are, my friend.
Oh, I have to change.
Is your camera on? Okay.
One day we're gonna come on and it's gonna be flawless.
All right, I'm
But then
gonna
it wouldn't be
introduce.
us. But then it
I,
wouldn't be us.
oh my God, it's perfect. So I'm Jeanette Bergstrom. I am a painter, a acrylic artist, painter. I don't know how you say. And with me, because we had so much fun last time, we're going to start doing these together. And my dog's barking. Is
It's
Terry
okay.
Wilson from Terry Wilson Art.
Hi
Hi.
guys. Hi
Okay,
Allie.
we got
Allie's
Allie's with
on.
us. I want to have Allie on one time with us too, because she's doing all this
Yes, I
great
would
stuff,
love that.
raising money for like animal sanctuaries and animal rescue. So I would love
Good
with her art,
cause.
like auctioning off her art all the time. She's doing this new paint by number class with that all the some of the proceeds go to the animal rescue. So we'll have to talk to her.
Okay. That sounds awesome.
Okay, so now Miss Cherry, this episode 3, the big 30, we are talking about our messy middle. When you reach that point in your painting, which it happens to everybody, whether they're doing realistic, representational, or abstract, you always get to that point where it just looks god awful.
It really
And what
does.
yeah, and what do you do? So I wanted you to start off because you had a project you were just working on that was looking like.
Terrible. To me, terrible to me because I think that I can only speak for myself, but I'm learning that how I feel is very common in the art world, in the creative world. And it's just that you have an expectation of really where you want it to be going, right? In your mind, you start with something. And then in the middle, it doesn't look anything like that. And for me, usually too, the middle is a pivot point because it doesn't look like what I wanted it to look like. I end up pivoting and then it becomes something kind of what I wanted, but it always has a different flair that ends up being amazing. And I like it better than what was in my mind to begin with. So I'm learning to trust the messy middle, right? And not be frustrated by it. Me being a new artist and just kind of having started in the last couple of years, I equated the messy middle with my lack of skill. And I just
Oh
thought it was
no.
me, right?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Uh-uh. No. No
It's
way,
good to know that it's
Jose.
not just me.
Yeah, no.
What about you?
Every painting goes through those stages. I think our favorite Jody King talks about this. There's like 4 or 5 stages that a painting goes through. Like when you first start, you're like all excited and you're like, oh my God, this is great. This looks so good. I'm so good. And then you keep going. And then at some point it gets to that page where it's like, oh my God, this is just god awful. It's not coming out the way I want. But the thing is that gets me past it is sometimes I just keep working at it and you look at the parts that you like and then you look at the parts you don't like. And with paint, we can always paint over. So if you don't like something, you could just redo it. But other times I'll let it sit for a day and then I look at it with fresh eyes and I see more things than I did see last time. Like I'll show you. So this painting that I did, which I absolutely love.
I do too.
It came
Super
together.
good.
Like I didn't hesitate. I didn't get an ugly middle on this. Well, I'm sure there was a snippet of an ugly middle, but it just came together super quick. And then I thought, oh my God, I love this. I'm loosening up. I want to do more of that. And then I did um, two more. This one I worked on for a couple days and I finally like it. But now what I see is these are all the same size.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of times when you're looking at the messy middle, either your values are too much, all medium values, there's no lights or darks. And or what Nicholas Wilson teaches about is the power of the opposites. Either your brush strokes are all the same or you don't have any contrast. Like contrast is so huge to
Yes.
keep painting interesting. So those are
Yes.
some of the things that happen at the messy middle, and that's where you have to analyze it. And then this dude was the one. Oh my God, I've been working on this for
I
days.
love it though. I love it.
This is getting better because at least the sizes, so I don't have all the three things the same size. I've got my lights and my darks, and I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm not straight dab smack in the middle with the interest point like you go around. But now I just need to add some highlights and maybe loosen this up just a tad because I really want it to be free and less so tight and restricted. So,
Yes.
and that's one other thing. If you get to that messy middle, you may be trying too hard, like
Well,
you
for
said.
sure. For sure. And for me, the messy middle is right now where I am in my journey, my messy middle is pretty much color selection. And so it gets messy because the colors aren't coming together like I would want them to. And I am finding on a painting I just finished, I am finding exactly what you talked about, which is the values of them. They were all the same value. You know, there was no light or and I'm doing watercolor, right? So I'm just trying to learn large watercolor paintings. And I'm looking at a painting right now where all of the values are the same and not in the shades, but in the tone of the watercolor. I need to make some lighter and then some darker, like more intense pigment of the watercolor, right? And so it's just figuring all of that out. And the most important lesson for me is to keep pushing through because I have so many paintings that are just laying around that got to the messy middle. And because I didn't realize that it was a messy middle, I didn't know what that was. So I just put them to the side because I hated them. And so now I can go back and see them and go, oh, yeah, that's why. So I'm more motivated now to go back and finish those because I know that if I push them, you just have to push.
Yeah. And on those messy middle, if you don't, now you can go back, you can analyze the values, you can analyze if there's any contrast going on, if there's any interest, if everything's the same, that's what makes it interesting if you see differences. But you can also, when you get one of those paintings that's still just not working out, try something you never tried before. Use a tool you've never used before. You just
Yes.
start making some friggin' marks and you may be surprised at what turns out.
Absolutely. And Allie just said that she does the same thing, so many a pile. But what I find about the pile, Allie, is for me too, it's like I can go back and I use those to practice an idea that I have. And then sometimes those become really cool texture in the painting, the layers underneath of
Right,
a whole new painting.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Trying something like you
Especially
said.
with abstracts, like the perfect one that does all those abstracts and textures is Nicholas Wilton. He does an amazing
Yes.
job, and he teaches all that in some of his free online courses too about looking for opposites and going. And Jody King does that too. Look for things, parts of the painting that you see that you love, like you personally love it. Then try to incorporate a little bit more of that.
I had a giant painting, like one of my larger ones that I started, right? And I was super excited and I did get to the middle and in fact, I recently did a post about it's the boob painting. And
Okay, I was waiting for you to talk about that.
it has since morphed into a whole different painting altogether. But, on my Instagram post, I'm behind in posting, because I'm whatever. you'll see as I post the progression of it. But there was this one tiny little spot that I really, 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 really loved. And it was accidental how it came about. And so I spent a lot of time, almost 2 weeks, trying to save that one little spot and do something else to fix the boob part and get rid of that. And I ended up at the end that I just painted over the entire thing. And I had to remind myself that first, this isn't the only awesome idea that I'm going to have. And if I made it once, I can recreate it again on another painting, but I know I like how that ended, but it just wouldn't work. And there was no joy left in the process of that painting other than the realization of I have gesso. I can start again and it's fine. And then I did, and I felt so much better about it. And the interesting thing is, though, on the back of the painting that I just finished, you can see the watercolor like through the back, and you can still see the remnant of that old messy middle that I never resolved. It just didn't resolve.
Well, you know what? Nothing is precious, especially with paintings, and we have to remember that. I think sometimes if you get too tight, like you said, it takes the joy out of it.
Yes.
And then, what in the heck are we doing? I mean, I know there's a lot of serious artists out there that are museum quality artists that are like, they have to be, they have to do that to get in the museums or wherever they are. But most of us, it doesn't matter. Nothing's precious. And if, you know what a good idea is Terry, that little section that you did like, take a picture of it.
I did. It took a lot.
Perfect. Because
Mm-hmm.
then you could remember and look at it and kind of remember, how you did that last time.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Laura's on. We have a lot of people this time. I'm so excited.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Are you still, she messaged us earlier and said she was going to be at Dave and Buster's. Are you still there? Did you sneak away for a minute to come on?
He's living the good life this summer with
Uh-huh.
the kids. But anyway, so that was fun. And then but what I would say to everybody is keep pushing through, push through the messy middle. Look at your values, look at your contrast, watch and see if your eye, kind of moves around the painting. You can also have little subtle interests, like it doesn't all have to be big, bold opposites. You can have little textural interest or little subtle tonal interest, but as long as there's something, so that the only time it works with the point, with the dot, having everything the same stroke size is pointillism, which I was going to say. Although with that, you gather the dots closer together and do more of them on top of each other to get darks, and you spread the dots apart to get light. That would be the only thing where your brush strokes, was kind of the same thing.
Right.
That's the point of it. But most of the time, you just look at all the interesting parts and the parts that you love, and you can make it through. And then if not, like you did with your boob and belly painting, it looked like a pregnancy painting. I was thinking.
Somebody said that too. They did. And I was like, oh, I didn't even see that. It's so funny, the things that you can see. I want to hit on also the emotional toll that the messy middle can take sometimes too. When as an artist you start to feel uncreative. I'm going to create my own word. Is that a word? Uncreate. Like just you don't feel creative anymore, and you feel like for me, it takes the joy away, and because the frustration comes in. And for me, my whole point of painting is to paint in joy. So then I feel a little guilty, like that my painting isn't all joy because there was a frustration part in it. But but then I think, but that's the tension of, life can't always be perfect because it would get real boring real quick, right? Same with our painting. It's like you need that kind of opposition, that frustration, because it pushes you. Sometimes in the messy middle, I have been so mad that I do something bold because I'm angry and I just go, rah, and I do this crazy stroke, and that becomes the best part of the painting. And then I'm like, wait, I'm not creating in joy, I'm creating in frustration and anger, but it worked.
Yeah, well, everybody does that. It depends on how you feel. Like Jody talks about that. Jess Hughes talks about that. They write things down, and they maybe they cuss, maybe they do like really hard strokes, but you just keep pushing it. And maybe that's another thing in the messy middle when you really hate it. Like you said, just do a big, ugly, awful stroke and get it out. And you don't know. It's always going to end up in a good place, I think. If not, we paint over it.
Yeah.
But most of the time you can get yourself out of it. It's just you gotta just not give up and keep going and try looking. And like I said, I let things sit for a day or two, and then come back with fresh eyes. The other thing I do is I've been trying to do this, and I love doing this, working on at least 2 paintings at the same time.
Yes,
Because
or
that's how,
more.
when you get stuck on one, you work on the next.
Yeah,
And then
you
you
just
can
move
flip.
through.
Yeah, and that helps you get out of that messy middle too.
And that also helps for me to keep, and you actually did a post about this recently where you're doing your 3 with the tape around it.
Yeah.
I find that when I'm working on multiples, things are less precious,
Yes.
right? I'm
Yes.
less, and I'm more free because I'm
Yes.
not focused on this one painting that I am trying to make perfect and trying to put all my energy in, and then it gets tight, 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 tight.
Yep.
And I want to be loose and joyful. So yeah, in fact, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right now that are going at one time, which is it's yeah, it's more happy because when you're frustrated, you just go, okay, set you over here. You're
Right.
in timeout.
You're in timeout for sure. I think that's why I'm struggling with this last seascape, because I was doing them. I did the first one so fast that then the other 2 I did separately, and trying to. You can never repeat exactly what you tried to do.
No,
It always develops, but I do find I learn every time I go and get through that process. I do learn something from it.
absolutely. If so much, just constantly, so much on every single painting, I learn not only just about creating, but about myself
Yeah.
and, how I react to what I'm learning. And yeah, yep. I, your painting that you were just working on that came so easy, those
Yeah.
are tricky because then you start your new ones with, again, that expectation of the next one's going to be easy because that one was, and you're like, I'm in the flow. It's all going to just come out and I got to do this now. And then then the next one, it literally is,
Never
what
is
there's
the
a
same.
never,
Never the
never. And
same.
then that creates that. I think I learned a phrase one time that frustration comes from unmet expectations. And
Oh,
so for me, learning to let go of any expectation of it and just paint. And I read a quote, another artist quote that was just painting with, instead of trying to create a painting, just paint with the tools and find the joy in the creation using the paint and the brushes and the all the things that we have to create, and then whatever comes out of it, then that's what comes out of it, and there's no expectation. But that's not easy to do.
no, and to let yourself go, but that's so important, and that's where your artistry comes out, is when you just let the zen moment kind of happen. And again, if you get stuck, then either switch to another painting or stop and wait for a day and then look at it with fresh eyes. But what was I going to say? Oh, one of the things when I was working as a photo art director, and somebody would want you to recreate a shot and say, oh my God, we love that shot. We want you to do it exactly the same. You can never make it match. It's just never going to be the same.
Really?
Time of day, the lights, the mood of, if you're shooting a model or somebody, it never works out the same. You just can't. You can get something close, but it's never going to be the same. And I think that's the same with art. I think that's why it's called a practice, because
Yes,
we're practicing and
constantly.
learning. And I look at all these people that do really representational art that are amazing, and how much detail they see when they're looking and painting. And I think, oh my God, I'm never going to ever amount to that. But I think everybody's still learning. I think nobody's going to be an expert. I don't care how long you've been painting. I don't think anybody's going to be.
But I'm learning that that's the joy of the journey, right? So in my previous career, I mean, when I left after 23 years, I had learned pretty much everything that I could. I basically had tapped out, with using my brain to create anything or to learn anything. And I feel like so far, and I have so many ideas and so many different techniques I want to do, and different paints and different all the stuff that we have at our fingertips now to be able to create. How can we ever be bored or ever arrive? There's
Well,
always something you can try.
well, and there was the quote just the other day that everybody is creative. You just have to have the desire to do it. So everybody can be creative. Everybody can do, you could do collage. You could do, cut things out of a magazine and put it together. You can, write things. I mean, everybody has that in them. It's just they have to have the desire to do it.
Did you
Oh,
just read what Allie put?
Yeah, read that for me.
One of my art mentors says she's only 10% into her journey and she's fabulous.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so exciting to think that you could just do this until you can't do it anymore. And and it's always going to be evolving and always changing and always using our brain and always challenging and always going to have a messy middle. And I think learning to embrace it and laugh at it when you get there is like, okay, so now we know that it's a thing. Now we know, and we've seen that we've been there. And now when it happens, because you have that realization, it takes some of that sting away of, I suck. This sucks. What Jody says in her little list of things of, this sucks. I suck. I'm not an artist. I need to quit. I'm going to, what am I doing? You can kind of let some of that go because you know that it's going to happen. And now you have the tools to be like, okay, it doesn't just happen to me. It happens to all of us. Yeah. And now I know I can either walk away, like you said, come back tomorrow, try a different crazy mad stroke or whatever you can get out of it.
Yep. Or even try, and I just thought of another thing. You can also try something like if you're afraid to try a new tool or a new technique, try it in your sketchbook. And then, then if you like it, you can go. But again, I think that's putting too much pressure on what you're painting. It makes it feel like the painting's too precious, and it's not. So I would just go for it or start cussing it out again. And then paint over
I also have this giant,
let me see.
And so this is basically, let me see if I can turn it. So this is basically just ideas and extra paint. And I have no idea what it's going to turn into at whatever point. It's nothing right now other than I'm creating floral shapes in it, but I have extra paint. And then I take a tool that I haven't used yet and I take that extra paint and I just see what it's, that's another idea for trying. If you don't like, sketchbooks to me still feel precious.
Oh, they do?
So, yeah. I don't know. Because I see people that have amazing, beautiful sketchbooks and I'm like, mine looks like a 5-year-old was playing in it. Like that, mine doesn't look like that. So there's that unmet expectation.
Yeah, you can't. And I do that too with my extra paint because that's a little bit of the preciousness. If I don't want to like throw away or not use paint that's on my palette, so I do the same thing. I have an extra canvas that I just kind of put all my extra paint on it. So you're right. I love doing that too. It's so fun.
And our friend Laura would love that because, she's all about sustainability and not wasting. And so you're using it in moving it forward into possibly even a new painting.
And a better painting, who knows? And we have to talk to Laura about that because I think she's got other ideas for artists on how they can be better sustainability with their painting and supplies and stuff. So we'll have to talk to her soon.
Absolutely. We're going to have her pop on we'll have to schedule it. We are scheduling it with her to come on, and she's been working on getting all of her ideas onto paper so that she can have for you guys to share. So she's been telling us the ideas and we're super excited about them. So we can't wait to share them with you guys. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good. I think that I love that conversation. I mean, we can go on and on about the messy middle.
But we all have it. It's okay.
And mindset, that other thing, don't let your mind start spinning out and going down that negative road. That's the other big factor. You got to avoid that negative road factor. And like you said, you have the desire to be creative and do something creative. that should carry you through. Don't let that negative.
And have a friend, create a friend group that's a safe space like we've been doing with me, you, and Laura, where you can bounce ideas off of and say, I told you guys, like, I am in the middle and I am so frustrated and I totally hate it. You guys are like, let me see it. Okay, move forward. Like, sometimes you just need that friend that that can be the outside of your emotions and your commitment to this painting, that can be like, okay, put it away,
Yeah.
go start something new, and we'll talk about that one tomorrow.
Or turn it to the side with your boot
Yeah.
painting. You just have to
Oh my
turn
gosh,
it.
you guys don't know this. So literally, I had posted that post about the boob painting, and Jeanette messages later, and she's like, just turn it on its side and you won't see boobs. I'm like, I've already repainted over the painting, but that would have been a great idea.
It was good, but you need someone to look at it with you. Although you can't always trust what someone else says, because like if they don't understand your art, then that could also be a slippery slope. You have to kind of trust your gut and just go back to what you love about it and what you don't like about it, and then fix what you don't like about it. And we have Aida, I'm not sure if I pronounced it right, from Germany.
What?
Yeah.
Where in Germany? Germany is my favorite. That's where I met my husband and fell in love, and I have a love affair with Germany.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, welcome.
So tell me now, Terry, what's happening for you in the near future? We're gonna do this again in 2 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Jess Hughes, I don't know if you guys know her. She does a course in getting in the media for artists and how you go about doing that. And I posted in our group there, so maybe some of you are from her group, but she's going to come on with us on August 10th. So we'll get to
Oh, she is? That's the day? Yes.
Yeah, that's the day.
So excited.
She messaged us, so you'll have to look at your messages. But yeah, so August 10th.
Yes.
So it's going to be a little bit later. We're not going to she can't do it until noon.
Okay. I'm down. Well, you can work around her schedule because she's got a lot going on. If you guys don't know her, you're going to love her. She's like pure love, joy, energy, personified. Like, it just
positivity.
Oh, yes, for sure. It's going to be awesome.
Being positive.
Yeah. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, because I'll tell you, I struggle with that. I may not seem like it, but I struggle with that negativity and that not having that self-confidence.
Yeah, and everybody does. If they don't admit it outwardly, they know inwardly that everybody has an insecurity or something that they are working through to become their better selves. So you're not alone.
And I think with creatives, we're more sensitive that way, because you're putting what's in your heart on the canvas or in the writing or in the clay, whatever you're making. So I think we are a little bit more susceptible to that. So mindset is huge.
It really is. And I think she's going to talk about that when we have her on. Yeah. I'm working on still just processing through a class that I'm taking on large watercolor paintings. I'm just really in love with that kind of flow and fluidity. And of course it's challenging because it's water and you're trying to control it and get it to do something that you want it to do. So learning to let that go and let it do what it does, and then create. Yes.
Is hard. I don't even do watercolor. I mean, unless I'm doing like filling in some color with a sketch in a sketchbook, then I'm okay. But watercolor is tough, girl. You got to be free with watercolor.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's fun, and then that's the whole point. Is just I'm feeling joyful in doing it. I'm finding that I want to run into my studio for 10 and 15 minutes here and there and put another layer down, and so that tells me that I'm on the right track because I just think about it all the time. It's all I want to do. Yeah. And so so I'm going to continue just working on that. Yeah. So by next time we come on, I'll have something to show. So.
Okay, awesome.
What about you?
I got to get through this little lovely, which almost is there. I got to finish that little lovely. And then then I'm still wanting to do some more abstracts. So I have one that I just did for fun, that I'm going to post soon. And I feel like I want to, again, work on my seascapes and landscapes, but with that freer, more random, more abstract, less representational, and just let my soul kind of go and not try to get as, so it's the water but it's not the water, or it's a mountain but it's not the mountain. Like, I just want to kind of work that through, and who knows.
I'm excited for you to do that. I know that once you release yourself to do it, that you're going to be fabulous at it. It's just you're in the process now of letting go, and it's not easy to do. I mean, it's vulnerable to let go and to put yourself out there. We're going full circle around all the things that we've
Yes.
talked about, but you're in a vulnerable space of like,
Yeah.
what your heart wants to do, and now just allow it to do it. Give it permission. And who cares what anybody thinks about it? Just get it out there. And if you love it, that's the most important thing.
Well, especially when I first started painting again after the pandemic and getting laid off and stuff, I I just started and I just said, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to post it, which was super scary, but I'm just going to keep going and see and every time I paint and a new painting comes out, I like it even more. And like, I love them all, but then I love the newest one. Or
Yeah,
then
because you're growing, because and each one, I can see your progression in the ones that you show me. I can see you loosening up, and that you still have room to loosen, but each time it's a little bit more and a little bit. So you're letting go, and it's a process, and you will let go in your own time. But I'm just here to cheer for you, like every time, like do it, do it, do it, do
and
it.
I'm cheering for you, girl, because you are really, I love your freeness in your painting.
Thank
So,
you.
I mean, I think we're both fun. We're doing different things, but it's both fun, and I love it.
Yeah,
So,
for sure, for sure.
and now you have to get on a ferry, I hear.
I am going to a ferry. I have my girlfriend is in town from California with her daughter, and we've been having the best time. I've been being a tourist in Seattle, which you never tour your own town until somebody comes in. So we're taking a ferry over to Bainbridge Island, and we're going to explore an island today. So it should be super fun.
Fun. I've been there once before, so I love it.
You have?
My cousin lives in Green Lake. She's
Yeah.
near Green Lake.
Yeah. Green Lake's a beautiful, beautiful area. Yeah. Yep. Cool.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. This one was a little bit shorter, and we'll see you on August 10th. And we'll post our replays, and hopefully I can save it this time, Terry.
We're figuring it out. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. I appreciate all your work going into doing the technical side of this.
Yeah, and I'm not techie, so oh my god. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Okay. All right.
Have a great afternoon. Bye, you guys. Thanks for watching.
Even know how to shut it off. You started and I ended it. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna do it now. Bye everybody.